Welcome to another Proven Sales Letter Breakdown video, day 84, so we're almost at the end, but today I have a really cool piece for you from Arthur Johnson. He's considered to be one of the Mount Rushmore copywriters at Boardroom by Brian Kurtz. So if you are not familiar with these things, this Mount Rushmore of copywriters actually consists of David Deutsch, Parris Lampropoulos, Arthur Johnson, and Eric Betuel. They were all crucial copywriters in building this over $100 million a year revenue company called Boardroom. And I've broken down several magalogs and sales pages and sales letters from various copywriters who worked at Boardroom at some point in their career. Definitely recommend you check them out. I'm gonna leave a link to the entire playlist in the description section of this video because they're all world-class copy. But I have a cool promotion today which really caught my attention. It's super hard to find, and it's not even the entire sales letter. It's basically, as I went through it, it's basically the lead, but two different versions of it. So we've talked about the importance of the lead before. It's basically the first part of any sales message that gets people emotionally invested in the whole thing, teases some benefits, maybe a unique mechanism, and also builds a little bit of curiosity on why they should actually read your advertisement itself, because they don't want to read ads. It's not people want. They want to read stuff that's interesting to them, and sometimes that's an ad. I've also said this multiple times before, but I wanted to show you this example because it's such a great example of crawling under your skin, under the skin of the target audience, actually doing tons of research and knowing exactly what to say in a very, very conversational tone. And I'm probably not going to read the first version of it, but I'm going to read the second version of it because it's just so good. Both of them are good, don't get me wrong, but they're just so good. So as I said, this was written by Arthur Johnson, probably a little bit lesser known copywriter, especially to more beginners, because he doesn't have a course or, to my knowledge, any high profile programs teaching other more beginner copywriters how to get better. But his writing definitely is up there, believe me. So we start with the main headline, "Had enough?" That's the headline. And then the subhead says, "Enough turkey burgers and sprouts, enough forcing gallons of water down your throat, enough exercising until you can barely breathe. Before you give up on everything just because everyone says it's healthy, see below for the real health facts and enjoy a healthy life." So what's going on here? Well, we have a very contrarian headline. Had enough? Enough of what? I have enough. Most people have had enough about something, and this pulls them in, definitely. And then we open up the entire conversation by including three specific, let's just say, nagging points that most people in our target audience for this specific ad experience. So first of all, that they should eat healthy. Everybody's telling them that they should eat healthy, that they should drink a lot of water. Like a few years ago, it was a big thing to drink a lot of water. Today, maybe not so much, but it's constantly fluctuating. Sometimes some voices start saying more about drinking a lot of water. Sometimes it's not so popular. It all depends. But at the time of writing this, it was probably pretty popular. And then the third one is exercise regularly, which again is, most people know it's healthy, but deep down, not many people actually want to do it. They just do it out of necessity. And then the subhead also has this big pain point, before you give up everything, because our target audience, they probably have health problems, chronic pain, other problems, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, maybe heart problems, arthritis, all these things. This is the alternative health market. So they have problems, and they also don't like big pharma. And they feel like, they have to sacrifice a lot of things in life that make life enjoyable. And now we want to give them a way to not sacrifice that. So even though so there's a peer pressure on you, dear reader, to give up everything and lose the gusto out of life, here are the real facts that can allow you to live a healthy life. And This basically communicates that, hey, this is how you can discover the real secret. And we see all these types of headlines like discover the real secret behind X or Y. But we have some interesting bullets here, which actually start teasing the belief shifting that's going to happen inside the sales letter. So probably the main sales letter talks about how, being a vegetarian isn't always the best, how you don't necessarily have to drink as much water as some people say, how sometimes if your cholesterol is high, it's not a problem. I'm not exactly sure. As I was reading this, especially in the second part of it, there's a lot of claims there that they're a little bit biased, I would say. I have a little bit of, I care about stuff, and I read a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff. So for years, I was more involved in like nutrition and like body hacking and neurobiology and microbiology and even stuff like that. So I'm not really sure whether many of the claims would hold true, but it's definitely a great copywriting. So it's definitely combined with amazing copywriting elements here. But back in those days, I mean, this could have been true, and there are a lot of research journals and various studies that prove these points. But on the other hand, there are just as many alternative studies that prove the exact opposite. That's the problem with nutritional science. There's a bunch of correlational studies, and it's very, very hard to say like what is true, what isn't, because you can find 100 studies to claim that vegetarianism is good, but you can find 100 studies that claim that eating red meat is good. So I don't know, it's hard to do. But remember, good copywriting is about confirming the pre-existing beliefs of our target audience. So if this specific target audience believes that they don't want to like put up with not eating meat anymore, then this is what they want to believe. So this is what you have to give them. These are the type of studies that you have to give them in order to actually move them to do something. And it's still better. Like some people might feel like, oh, isn't that immoral or something? Well, no, because like who knows like what the real reality is when it comes to nutrition. Probably it depends on every single person. It's super unique, but at least you start people on a path to at least improve their life, their healthy lifestyle a little bit. But rant over. So let's get back to the copy itself. So these are all super contrarian things that people actually want to hear, like say no to the vegetables because they actually die younger. Stop the water torture and prevent cancer by enjoying your coffee. Keep cholesterol levels above 200 because massive strokes soar when it's lower. Heart attacks risk plummets 300% when men eat more red meat. So all super contrarian things that definitely get people's attention. So whenever you gotta get people's attention, either you start with a punch in the gut story in the middle of the action, or you give them something super contrarian that goes against everything that everybody else is saying, because that's how they actually pay attention. So after this thing, we have the image of the doctor here. He seems like a knowledgeable person. His name is William Campbell Douglas II, MD. So basically then this rest part is all about a big authority build-up with his impressive qualifications. So that's why I'm not going to read this version here, but I'm going to read the next version of the lead, because it's a little bit more conversational. Here it's I love how there's this little, this could even be like an insert in something like a space ad or something, like a very short space ad. It says, learn the facts of real health from medicine's most acclaimed mythbuster. Nice. And let him show you how to shrug off your medical miseries in the next 60 seconds. Wow. Read now to claim your 5 free gifts. So what else do you need, right? You can learn the real secret from medicine's most acclaimed mythbuster. So there's implied proof plus, an insider type of thing there. And we have the benefits section, how to shrug off your medical miseries. in the next 60 seconds. So it's like, wow, okay, this is a big promise. And then we have a little call to action here as well to consume the rest of the sales letter. This is amazing. You can create any other type of, you can create ads like these on Google. Just, you funnel people to your landing page. Definitely you can model something after this. So as I said, this part is all about building up his authority. It establishes him as this crusader who fights for you. And we really get a lot of emotional rapport and proof for this doctor, starting with all his impressive qualifications and how he even served in the Navy, and he was a flight surgeon, and he even went to Africa and built clinics for the world's in one of the world's poorest nations, Uganda, and he healed a lot of people there. And then at the end of this, the reader is gonna feel like, what an amazing guy. I bet he knows the real secret and he can help me. That's what they're going to believe. And then we have some, let's just say, proof elements. These are proof elements basically because they highlight past predictions, successful predictions that this person made that have come true. And we've seen this before in financial promotions, for example. Anytime when there's a guru who is trying to sell you a stock or investment advice or something, you really have to highlight his past track record. And, it's a fallacy in a sense because we know, good investors know that there's almost zero correlation between what happened in the past and what's going to happen in the future. Like, sure, some stocks totally overperformed in the past, but that doesn't mean it's going to perform well in the future. It has nothing to do with that. But obviously, we as humans are biased creatures, and we like to think that if a trend was happening in the past, then it's going to keep happening in the future as well. But it's not the case. So this was the first version here, and this is the second version that I want to read towards the end probably, and let's just see what's happening here. And then at the end of this video, or even now, just leave a comment and let me know which version of the lead you liked most. Okay, both are good, but I like the second one better. If these are two lead types, maybe this was just a separate insert or something. I'm not exactly sure how this file was compiled. I'm not even sure where I found it. I just found it and I said, damn, this is good, and I want to break it down. So let's start with this one. First of all, it says, everybody you turn today, everyone keeps hollering at you. You're not eating enough vegetables. You're not getting enough exercise. Give up meat. Give up coffee. Get out of the sun. While you're at it, give up everything. So it's already triggering strong emotions inside the target audience because nobody likes to be nagged, okay? And most likely if our target audience is men, between ages of 50 to 70, there's a common joke as well that, their wives are nagging them constantly about all these things, maybe their children as well, and they're sick of it. And if they read something like this, immediately they're gonna feel like, wow, this person who wrote this letter, he understands me like crazy, and I have to pay attention because he read my mind. He knows what I feel. Finally, somebody understands. Everybody keeps nagging me, and finally, there's a voice of reason in my mind, in the reader's mind, who understands. And this is amazing voice of customer data, if you think about it, because, the copywriter, Arthur Johnson, the only way why he was able to write something like this is because he did a ton of research. So then the headline continues. Nag, nag, nag. They never let up. But I've got some great news. My dear besieged friend. Notice the extra personalization salutation here. I love it. Even though everyone else is giving up coffee, alcohol, meat, eggs, fatty foods, sunshine, and all things that make life livable, even though they're exercising like maniacs, sweating like horses, and scolding you for not joining them, please don't submit to this self-denial because it's just junk medicine. It may look like the real thing, but when you see what it actually does to you, you'll be appalled. So, wow, it's effective, right? You do want to read further, like, oh, what are you talking about? My dear besieged friend, this builds a lot of rapport. because, my besieged friend, finally someone who understands me. Then he talks about, Arthur Johnson talks about all the things that our people in our target audience love: coffee, alcohol, meat, eggs, fatty foods, sunshine, all that good stuff. Then he talks about all the things that they don't love, like sweating all the time due to exercise. And then he is teasing the real secret. He's basically, he promises that he's going to expose false information. So then we continue. While masses of people meekly submit to these pseudoscience scared crowds, not even your doctor dares to ask, why? How come? Says who? But we're going to ask all these questions right now, and we're going to love, and you're going to love the real answers. So who am I to be swinging this axe? So what is Arthur Johnson doing here? Well, he's discrediting alternative solutions because, remember, the health market, or even the alternative health market, it's super competitive. There's a lot of things going on there, and people have seen it all, and they've heard it all, and obviously they trust their doctor, especially if they're in just the health market, and because doctors carry like an implicit authority status, so people trust them. But these people in our target audience, they want to believe that whatever their doctor is telling them isn't necessarily true. I mean, they want to believe. They don't want to work in order to be healthier, or they've seen so many fads before. Maybe they are skeptical as well. So there's this voice of reason in their mind, Dr. William Campbell, who finally understands them. It's really, really a big thing. That's why I'm reiterating this so many times. So then we have the mandatory authority build-up section. We've seen this in almost every single sales letter. After the lead part, or after the first few paragraphs, there's a little authority build-up, because people are asking, who are you and why should I trust you? And like Arthur Johnson even preemptively asked the question. So who am I to be swinging this axe? This is a preemptive objection handling element. And then we get, the authority build-up, how, this person, Dr. William Campbell Douglas, has been named Doctor of the Year. He has been called the conscience of modern medicine. He's been a flight surgeon, emergency physician. He went to the bullet-torn regions of Central America, fought deadly epidemics at my own health clinic in Africa, worked alongside doctors at Russia's renowned Pasteur Institute. So, he is the real thing, right? And he is interesting. So there's this implicit promise that he's seen so much of the world that he's probably not biased. And this gives him credibility. And this little subhead here gives him even more credibility, because it says, time after time, experts attack Mr. Douglas for breakthroughs they now call cutting edge. So think about this for a second. One of the key persuasive things we can do is to highlight the common enemy that both we, as the voice who is basically telling the message to the reader, and the reader hate. So an enemy that both of them hate, because that bonds people. Think about it. When you have a common enemy with someone, it bonds you in a certain way. And that's it. That is what's happening here. Our target audience knows that these types of things, if true, will probably be discredited by mainstream science, right? And mainstream medical establishments. They implicitly believe that there's this conspiracy going on, or that people are crooked, or that, most doctors are just lazy, or they're bought off by, drug companies or something like that. This part really actually increases the credibility of Dr. Campbell even more. It makes him feel even more likable. And we also get a little tease for the unique mechanism on how he basically experimented with hormone therapy in London, but then when he came back to the US, he was ridiculed by a famous gynecologist who said Douglas is full of crap. So yeah, yikes. I mean, imagine you being a doctor and another doctor saying something like that to you. It's serious. So basically the story is that others ignored him, and William is the shining light in this whole story. And that even though doctors ignored him a few years ago, nowadays they are actually saying the same thing. So once again, this is implied proof, just like this prediction part here, on how Williams' promises and predictions and hypotheses came true. So then we continue. This is just one example of why Dr. Douglas can justifiably say, I told you so. Maybe I told you so is important for a target audience. Remember, they're older a little bit. Older people love to say, I told you so, in most cases. Wouldn't you rather have the truth about today's life-saving health discoveries years before the others finally stumble into them? Let him help you heal all your health miseries right now. No purchase necessary, just RSVP and do it ASAP. So here lies the promise in this lead part. Basically, hey, I want to help you discover these real secrets before everybody else discovers them, because that's the best way to live a long and happy life. And then we have a little section that starts talking about how, it starts to reframe false beliefs that people in a target audience might have. There is no such thing as an undeniable medical fact. As you'll see on the following pages, medicine just doesn't work that way. You're not a number, you're a human being, the most unpredictable thing in creation. And your own road to real health can be easier, cheaper, and far more pleasant than any health nag would ever predict. So I like this because it's head nodding copy, so it gets people to say, oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm not a number, I'm a human being, I'm special, I'm unique, and oh, there's a way to get healthy easier and cheaper, I want that. So then, as people started nodding, it's a micro commitment in a sense, we give them the offer, which is just let me send you 5 free gifts and you'll see and feel what I mean. So what a nice little tie into the offer. Just let me send you 5 free gifts. I mean, you as the reader, you'd be crazy not to accept this, right? Finally, somebody somebody understands you, actually. Somebody speaks your language. Somebody makes you feel like, you're not alone in this world. And it makes sense. And he has the credentials. And he has a unique promise. And he has a user-friendly proposition. So why shouldn't we give this a shot, right? So then we continue. These 5 myth-busting volumes contain all the shockingly good news I've been telling my own patients. This is stuff that every neck-to-death American has a right to know. So these are empowering words. So I want you to have them all free. No purchase required, no weasel words, free. I realize this may sound unusual when everyone else is reaching for your wallet. This is kind of like an objection handling element, but that's just the start of how unusually great you're going to feel. You'll learn how to make your body immune to cancer, heart attacks, joint pain, flu, colds, and deadly disease in ways that would make our misinformed health authorities whine for a week. By eating real food, taking a few cheap supplements that make you stronger, and doing some shockingly pleasurable things that everyone knows can't be healthy. So this kind of is, once again, a promise. It kind of future paces a little bit, like how your life is going to look like if you follow my advice. But this is kind of a powerful promise as well. Although it's not really that compliant for nowadays. Like, you could never run something like this on Facebook or on Google. I mean, come on, to make a specific promise like your body will be immune to cancer, that's unforgivable in Facebook's eyes. So then after it, we have a few specific examples. We start giving people content, okay? So the copy goes like this. First, we'll get the diet Nazis out of your life. So honest, right? This just shows you, like, Arthur Johnson is such a master of just writing in a very casual, friendly way that just connects with people. I mean, do you feel like this is marketing text? Not really, but it's cutting edge marketing text. So we'll get the diet Nazis out of your life. I mean, everyone's hollering, eat your vegetables. But please don't overdo it, because the actual figures reveal. So this is kind of like the promise. This is kind of like the proof. But as I said, it's not really that convincing if you think about it from a scientific point of view. It doesn't really quote any studies, and all these correlational studies, they can be biased. You can twist them around. You can cherry pick data easily. But hey, it is what it is. The copywriting part of it is super good. So it says stuff like vegetarians die younger, or vegetarian kids are sicklier, or vegetarian diets won't even make you more regular. And they could sap your sex life and your strength. This is not a myth. In fact, researchers at the University of Massachusetts Medical School have linked meatless, low-protein diets to slumping sex function and muscle loss and bone damage. This probably is true in a sense, but once again, it assumes, it leaves out that you could actually take extra supplements, or there's also vegetarian options so that you can still have strength and you can still enjoy a good sex life. But this is what our target audience wants to hear. And then we have a second part which talks about coffee, because people love drinking coffee, and most medical, especially if you have high blood pressure, they don't really recommend coffee that much. But this kind of is counterintuitive and gives you a few tips on why it can be good to drink a lot of coffee. And then I like how Arthur Johnson includes a little line that says, I don't recommend smoking, but if you do, don't give up on coffee. One study shows it may even help protect smokers from bladder cancer. So smoking would be overkill, even if our target audience wants to believe that smoking is helpful. Obviously, at this point, we know for a fact that smoking is harmful. So it's worth it to point that out, because it seems like if we also said, smoking is also good for you, this would, first of all, would be unethical. But secondly, it would turn a lot of people off, because it would be like blatant lie, okay, that many people can see through. So then we have another part which says, you should drink 8 glasses of water a day. So again, we have kind of like a debunking of this. So why, this guy here, Arthur Johnson, because he wrote it, but he is impersonating William Campbell Douglas. So William, let's just say William. I'm super tired, by the way, because it's like almost midnight here. And I'm doing this video just now, but he starts asking these philosophical questions. So turn back on your tormentors with one simple question. Why? Why should I drink more coffee? Who said this? Nobody knows why. It's just a myth. It's just something that somebody made up, right? And this is, again, head nodding copy. Super powerful. And at the end of this little mini section, I like it because people get control back in their lives. So this whole thing with the water, the punchline of this mini part is that if you follow my advice, dear reader, you're gonna get control back in your life. And then we have a little section related to Alzheimer's as well. Another big promise: slash your risk of Alzheimer's overnight. How it's super easy, and starting tomorrow. Okay, I'm just going to read it to you, because once again, this is a great example of conversational copy, okay? This is the last part of this swipe file that I have, but I think it's definitely worth reading. So check this out. Slash your risk of Alzheimer's overnight. It's really easy. Starting tomorrow, drink no tap water. Not because of industrial pollution, but because of chemicals that health authorities are adding to your water. For example, people who warned against fluoridation used to be ridiculed. But guess what? In Scandinavia, in fact all of Europe, and nearly every other medical advanced nation, they have now banned the practice. Know why? Because fluoride makes your body absorb extra aluminum. And where does the aluminum go? Your brain. And what metal shows up alarmingly in the brains of Alzheimer victims? You guessed it. Maybe our health authorities have been drinking too much water? So it's kind of like a little mini mini conversation going on here. It's really great. It gets people's attention and it keeps them interested. It's again, it's a little bit biased because, like, so what? I mean, even if Alzheimer's patients have more aluminum in their brains, that doesn't necessarily means that it's because there's more aluminum in water. Okay, it just correlates. So and then we have, you know, the tie-in again to the free report a little bit. It says, in your free reports, I'll explain the cheapest and easiest way to filter out all this toxic junk medicine, along with several even easier ways to cut your Alzheimer's risk. And you'll learn how to slash your cancer risk by ignoring some of today's most idiotic advice, including loads of continued. So it's a shame that, you know, this sales letter doesn't continue, this specific swipe that I have here. Maybe if you have the swipe for this, the full one, definitely send it to me. Send me an email at csaba@gameofconversions.com, and I'd love to read the rest of it because I really liked it. So this is how good copy, especially for a target audience like this, looks like. It's honest, it's raw, it's vulnerable, and it helps you throw rocks at your enemies. Because the target audience for this, they're a little bit more paranoid. So Arthur Johnson had to write copy that caters to these little more paranoid type of people. But this headline had enough. It gets attention. Probably this wasn't really copied that much because, to my knowledge at least, this isn't really a well-known promotion, especially in like beginner to intermediate copywriters. But when it comes to health companies, maybe it is, I don't know, but definitely it's something to get some inspiration from. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, because I'm releasing these videos daily. And if you subscribe and also click the little notification icon, then you get a notification, a pop-up when I release a new video, and you can watch it right away so you don't miss it. And also, if you enjoyed this and want to share it with someone, maybe a copywriter friend, marketer friend, something like that, definitely feel free to do it. It helps me, it helps them, it helps you look like a great guy or gal, and I definitely appreciate it. So thanks again for watching. You're awesome, and see you soon.